Hey everybody, Tim here from Rat Daddy Studios, and tonight I'm going to do something different. I'm going to show you some models. I did some digging in my archives, which would be the gazillion tubs of built models I have in the back of my closet here. I did some deep diving, and then I have a tub of memorabilia, stuff that I have held on to for many years. That means a lot to me because it's a good friend. And I'm talking about Tom Daniel from Monogram Model fame. And Tom and I first started talking to Tom in 1991, I believe. I got put in touch with him. I'd been trying to get in touch with him, and then I got put in touch with him indirectly through Dave's Show Rod Rally, which is a model car website of show rods. A lot of Tom Daniel stuff on there, as you know. And John Grexula, who now works with, well, he worked with Playing Mantis at the time, which is now, round two and all of the other stuff. I think John's still there as far as I know. He actually put me in touch with Tom, said he'd been in touch with him on a project he was working on. I still have the original letter for that. I'll show you some of that stuff in just a bit. But I dug out a few of my Tom Daniel built models. At one time, I had every Tom Daniel kit except for two. They were reissues of some of the earlier from the King Chopper, which became Satan Cycle. And I think the other one was the Vampire, which was the white and pinkish purple version of the Corvair powered trike, the yellow one with the graphics on it, which I can't remember the name of right now. It's pretty bad. It had split front end with the tires tilted. It's been a long time ago. And anyway, I had a really complete collection and a lot of stuff. I had duplicates. A lot of the snap tights I had 3 colors of. I had a really huge collection. And again, that's one of those things I parted with way back when I was building my real hot rod. But that's neither here nor there. So we'll kind of, let me just get right to it here. I'll show you a few things. This first thing is the paddy wagon, of course. And this is actually one of the later issues because I had the figures. I've got some of the early issue kits and box art. This was one of the reissues, and I think I got so stoked on this because it has the figures. Tom had originally wanted these figures with this kit because they were in the artwork way back when this kit first came out. And I think because of cost issues or whatever, they didn't do it. Well, then one of the reissues of this kit, which has still been several years ago now, because I think I may have built this at least 20 years ago, maybe more. So they decided to do the figures, and Tom was really stoked with this, that they did it. So it's funny because I always liked the Carl Casper paddy wagon's paint job, so I kind of did it a la Carl Casper. So got the gold plated chrome and did the white, just pure white, airbrushed over that with candy blue. And, as you can kind of see the fade. So this is very similar to, it's not the same, but similar to the paint work that's done on the Carl Casper paddy wagon. And there's your cop there. And I think in the back there, I think I did those padded panels in pearl from the looks of it. And I put a little felt in the floor there. Yeah, the panels are tufted white pearl. A little black carpet there. So I like this. I had built this when I was young, like everybody else, and so I wanted to do a nice version of it when I got older, and this is what I got. So I hung on to this. This is one of the buildups I did not sell. Hung on to that one, and this is that same kit, slightly modified. And I did this, I think I did this for some kind of contest, but I don't remember what. It was probably one of the contests on the Show Rod Rally. And of course I flaked the piss out of the roof with that big old giant flake. And of course a big gigantic blown Hemi in there with some ridiculous stacks. And I think these stacks, if I remember, I think I made these stacks from like the little hats, the little cop hats that might have come with the kit, I think. There's looks like a couple milled parts, like a milled distributor in there. Back up a little. And those are some of those wide whites. That's probably from the little coffin or something. I don't know what I did from this. Let's get some dual chutes on the back. And I just basically channeled this body in half, I think, to squat it down. And then I used I think this driver figure might be out of the Stinger dragster, the Tom Daniel Stinger, I think, or one of those. It's got some moon eyes gauges, it looks like, in there, a tack face, and a little bit of wiring. It looks like there's also a milled coil on the top of there, and I did plug lines with little plug boots, and it's got a little extra detail, but nothing too crazy. So basically it's a drag car. So that's that. Well, that was fun. I like cutting stuff up. This next one, this is, there we go. This is the Firecracker. This is what would later become the Fire Iron and have more normal tires and rims on it. These are kind of rims off the Groovy Grader. This was the original issue. And this is, I think I did candy lime gold and candy apple red over a white base coat. So that's why you get this almost neon effect. So it's really bright. Basically bone stock right out of the box. Yeah, so oh, there's the little, I knew there was a cover for that sitting there in the back. A little toolkit cover. Definitely do not want to lose that, and that's probably why I stuck that in the back there, so I didn't, because naturally it's fighting me on going on there. Get on there. There we go. Get your little door. I guess I could have glued that open or shut, but anyway, didn't. I painted all the little tools up. So I always like this thing. I like fire trucks. And some fire trucks are this bright yellow and some are the bright red, so I just decided to do both. It's got stock decals that came with it, I think. And there's those big, crazy, fat, Groovy Grader looking tires. So it's kind of cool. And I like that one so much, I hung on to that one too. I didn't get rid of it. All right, so moving right along. This next one, I'm not sure both pieces of this will fit up there. So, there we go. Anybody that knows anything about Tom Daniel knows he loves trains. When I got hooked up with Tom, he was pretty much away from the model and car scene, but he was still doing fine art, and a lot of, in his fine art is a lot of, not only, there was some hot rods and cars and stuff, but a lot of trains. Really beautiful stuff. He loves these old steam locomotives. But this is the Honest Engine, and there are two of these that are identical. I built them both at the same time. I had these custom decals made for this. Let's say Tom Daniel Railroad. Got the TD on the side of it. And an old friend of mine who pretty sure passed away, and we never were able to verify that, Dan Warford, the Slippery Arts decals. He printed these for me with an Alps printer. You can see it's all gold in there to pick up the gold plating on the engine. I think I did this in candy root beer, I think over a gold base, if I remember, to darken it down, and then I faded black around the edges first on all of the train, the little car, the coal car, and around the edges of the engine itself. I did just a very subtle black fade over that base and then coated over it with candy root beer to come up with this. So these kits are still pretty darn hard to find. They come up on eBay, but they get good bucks. And these are, again, these are kind of those Groovy Grader looking tires. The center ones are a little different. But there's a bunch of them too. I mean, there's a dozen of those on this build. Big drag chute on the back there. And lots of nice little details. But again, this is pretty much box stock. I mean, not much you could do to this to make it any cooler. always loved this thing. So anyway, so that's that. So that's a few things I just wanted to share with you, and I'm going to share a few more things here now, also out of my archives. And I'm not bragging because I've been friends with Tom. I've been friends with Tom. I'm 62 years old, so I've been friends with Tom for about 32, 33 years. And the original way I did get hooked up with him through John was I was working on an article for at the time for the old Hot Wheels newsletter, and I wrote an article called 20 Questions with Tom Daniel, and I originally had sent him a letter, and he sent me his phone number and wanted me to call him, which I did, and we talked about it, and he said, well, get everything together, send me all the questions, and then it may take me some time because I'm busy, but I will do my best to answer everything for you. And he did. And I still have those original typewritten pages here. I'll show you in just a minute. And over the years that we've been friends, Tom has autographed all of my box arts on just about all my models and a bunch of my Hot Wheels, and I'll show you a couple of those here. I'm going to lay those out here. These are original Hot Wheels. He did these, he signed these in '92, but that's an original Red Baron, still in the package with the badge. And an original Paddy Wagon. That one's missing the badge. And the story was with these missing the badge, some of these were gas station promos. And yeah, this is 1970. And if the gas stations got stuck with a bunch of these extra after the promotion was over, all they had to do was pop the badge out of the package and send it back to Mattel, and they gave them like credit for these cars. So there's a lot of these floating around out there with the badges missing. I've run across years ago when I was actively collecting this stuff. I had tons of those pass through my hands over the years. So that's a common thing, and I think a common known thing amongst collectors. I'll show you a few original box arts too. Obviously he signed these in later years for me. That's 1998. It's an original Sand Crab box art. I love this original art. I mean, it's just so good. And this is some of my favorites. This is original Dragon Wagon box. And these are, what I did this one time is I took all my boxes. See, I flattened these out and put them in these sleeves. And I flattened out a couple of dozen of these and just sent them all out to Tom and say, hey, when you get a minute, man, will you sign these for me? Which he did. He's always been very cordial. And there's an original Rommel's Rod box, as you can see. And same thing. Tom put his signature on there. Those were done in '98. And a couple of things I will show you that I really love. I love this. And this isn't signed, but this is an original Big Red Baron box. This was the early artwork before they started putting the picture of it on there. So this goes back, and I love this big giant box art. And there's been posters and everything made of it, but this is the actual box art. Stand it up this way so you can see it. So this is cool because it's got some cool pictures here on the side of it. You can see the Morton Grove, Illinois name on there. So somebody's built up is on there. And yeah, just kind of tells you, this thing, the Red Baron has sold, I think, more model kits than any other model ever made. It's just always been the perennial favorite, and it's just cool. It just never goes out of style. And the other thing I've got here, this is an original King Chopper box art, and that one is signed also in '98. Tom did that, but this is just killer artwork. Totally, that period. The psychedelic dress on the girl, guys with the surfer helmet on. It's just cool. Big old sideburns, cool hip rose-colored glasses. So I love this stuff, man. I mean, this is my era, guys. I'm an old fart, so this is my era. Look at that vulture up there. I mean, he's just cool. This was the last model kit I had in my possession when I turned into a teenager, and all my models went by the wayside. I was a pretty good skateboarder back in the day. In 1976, I won the junior men's Florida State Championship title, and my good friend Kelly Lynn won the overall title for everybody. He was in the Pee Wee division. Of course, then there was like men's, junior men's, blah blah blah, what, all the way up seniors. But at the time I was the junior men's champion. So as I was accumulating skateboarding trophies, I was getting rid of models. I had a shelf that ran the entire length of my room in our little house in Daytona. And at one time I had well over 100 built model kits on that shelf, on my bookcase, and they were everywhere. My mom hated my room. She hated coming in. Of course, she'd come in there dusting and break shit all the time. She drove me crazy, but still, she's still, we call her June Cleaver, because she's constantly, vacuuming and dusting. She's 86 years old and she still cleans her house every day. Anyway, so yeah, one by one, my models got boxed up and eventually just went away. But I had the King Chopper sitting on my nightstand. And I think when we moved to a different house when I was in high school, and I think it got broken up then, and I kept the Vulture for years. I have the Vulture off of that. I just, for whatever reason, didn't turn loose of it. But yeah, so that was really the last model that I had. So anyway, and I've got, let me see if I can get that out of here with one hand here. Excuse me, I'm going to be wavering this around. So, yeah, that's going to make everybody sick. So anyway, this is that original letter from John Grixula. Or no, take that back. This is from Tom Daniel. When was this? November 3rd, 1992. This was after the fact. He had sent me a huge print of a 57 Chevy that he had illustrated. And yeah, he was just kind of touching base with me. That was after we did it. But the interview was from both of us, hand typed on an old typewriter. This is my end of it. This is the 20 questions. Here, actually 22 questions. So that's the original sheet. That's same thing I sent to Tom, and then got his reply.